Hello, my name is Andy Byrd, and I am coming to Brazil from Kona, Hawaii. So honored to be here. This is my first time to Brazil. Have sensed for a number of years that the Lord was going to connect me with some amazing people here. I was going to have a privilege to come and to learn from the people of Brazil and to run with arms locked together towards amazing things in the nation. So this is the first trip. I feel so blessed to be connected with Dunamis, with the leadership here. I am blown away at their integrity, their love for the presence of God. And we've had an amazing couple of days here at the Dunamis experience. This gathering is specifically themed around the themes of prayer and intimacy, leading to missions and impact, which is a theme that is near and dear to my heart, and of course to all of you who are listening, and of course most of all to Jesus, revealed in the Scriptures, the longing of the heart of God, that Eden would be married to the dominion mandate, that the intimacy would be married to impact, that this life of prayer and worship would be married to a missional, evangelistic, winning the lost. And so we've been talking about these themes over the last several days, and I am so encouraged by what I see here in Brazil, in the hearts and the passion of the young people that are gathering. I was blown away. We had a miracle today that even though Brazil was playing in a soccer match with Japan, that the room was full of hungry believers wanting to learn more about both prayer and mission. So as we've gathered together, it is my belief in my heart that in history we've seen many times that when a community or a group or an organization or a part of the church, when they get gripped with God's heart for intimacy, for a life of prayer and faith-filled intercession, that the outflow and the result of that is power in missions and evangelism, reaching the lost and changing society. We see that in the Moravians in the 1500s, in the 1700s in Germany. We see that again and again in the great awakenings of history. We see that, of course, in the Scriptures as well, both the Old Testament and the New Testament. We see it in many of the modern day moves of God, that when God's people are set in motion in prayer and intimacy, worship and intercession, that sure to follow is the winning of the lost and a missional lifestyle. And I believe that God is doing this in Brazil in amazing and unprecedented ways, that the greatest harvest that Brazil has ever seen is just ahead of us, that the greatest hour of vibrancy in the church is just ahead of us, and that as the church and the believers in this nation continue to grow in their love, their joy in the presence of God, the Word, prayer central in the life of a believer, as well as in groups and churches, that as that grows and that furnace of intimacy and that furnace of intercession grows, that soul winning is going to explode like never before in this nation. The simple proclamation of the simple gospel. Jesus being made real and exalted, high and lifted up. And as He is lifted up, that harvest will result. And from harvest, from that furnace of worship and prayer, leading to that soul winning, is that society will begin to be even more transformed around the truths of Scripture and the truths of the gospel. And I believe that out of awakening in Brazil will come an amazing, historic missions movement into the nations of the earth. Brazil has already blessed the nations in so many ways, but I believe that the future is even greater, and that out of a harvest in this nation, wild, passion-filled, character-filled Brazilians will launch into the nations of the earth, carrying the gospel, carrying a message of hope, a message of transformation into nations all over the earth. And it's for that reason that we've gathered together this weekend around times of worship and times of prayer, times of teaching and times of ministry, believing that this is already happening in Brazil and it's only going to increase. So the great news, aside from, of course, the good news of the gospel, the great news is that you're all involved. Every one of you is a part of this. Whether you're listening to this in your university campus, whether you're listening to this and we're heading to work in the morning, whether you're listening to this and you're a mom taking care of your children at home, whether you're listening to this and you're in a high school, or you're listening to this and you're a teacher, whatever it may be, is that every believer has a part to play in this harvest, this awakening, and this mobilization into the nations. So I want to encourage you. I want to give you courage today for the amazing hour that we live in, the privilege that it is to be alive, and the important role that you have in this move of God. So I bless you. I bless this amazing nation. Have an amazing evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are.
you.